Doctrine is essential, but spirituality and experiences come first. Brian mentioned it a minute ago. The Sabbath is an experience. It's not just a matter of saying, I'm not going to do anything for 24 hours. That's not Sabbath. Remember one man telling me, he was an older man at the time, who had grown up in Europe. And his folks, he was older than me at the time he was telling me this. So it goes back to the beginning of this century, of the last century rather. He said on Sabbath afternoon they had to leave their church clothes on and they sat on the sofa until sunset.
Oh, man.
Boy, I can hardly wait for Sabbath to come. Emphasize Sabbath as experience, a time to get acquainted with each other, a time to get acquainted with God. Have the communion and do the foot washing service where we serve each other and we say that we all are family. We all are together on the same level. That's what I would say about that. Okay? By the way, did I miss something here? I'm really doing good with this afternoon. What? Oh, I love electronic stuff. I wonder if my battery is a little bit weak on this thing. There's the one I want. This one really got my attention because as I've grown up in the Adventist church, I've always thought that doctrine and teaching was the most important thing. If you go back in the history of the Adventist church, you'll find out that that's been true, and you'll find out that that's true because there were people who got pretty well carried away on experiential things back in the early days, and they sort of just shut that off. Well, part of that slide is going to get cut off there, so I better read it off of here. This is important because, again, it shows that experience and spirituality are very much a part of what we do. Most people by personality are not logical thinkers and are not likely to change their beliefs because of elegant arguments or apologetics. However, most people do not become Christians because of the overwhelming evidence. And since mosaics and busters are more likely to possess a nonlinear, fluid way of processing life, they are increasingly comfortable with subtlety, nuance, ambiguity, and contradiction. So, even if you're able to weave a compelling logical argument, young people will nod, smile, and ignore you. You know? So it's not just a matter of having the right argumentation. It again goes back to the way you live your life. Let's go to the next one. Treat all people with dignity. The perception is that Christians show contempt for gays and lesbians. The new perception is Christians show compassion and love to all people regardless of their lifestyle. Did Jesus do that? Who were the lesbians and gays of his day?
The lepers and tax collectors.
The lepers and the tax collectors. And with the lepers, what did he do? He touched them.
And the Samaritans.
And oh yeah, but don't forget the Samaritans. Most people walked around Samaria to get between Judea and Jerusalem. They would walk all the way around rather than taking the short way.
He took the shortcut.
He took the shortcut. Yeah. Again, we don't have to agree with people's lifestyle. And we may even need to help and show that that lifestyle isn't what they should be doing. But we can still love them. Can't we?
Yes.
Wow. Some people have a hard time with that one. A person's lifestyle and personal choices don't have to determine whether we accept them.
I think part of that is a misunderstanding of sin, which maybe postmodernism should push us back to.
Well, that's another place where postmodernism helps us.
Yeah. I mean,
In certain cases.
I emotionally eat from time to time. Is that a greater sin or a lesser sin than homosexuality? Is it both of them really at the root of it? A breakdown in God in my life, in a person's life, in that socially acceptableness of certain sins and not of others. We need to break down that wall so that we can treat all people with dignity because we recognize our own sinfulness, whether it's pride, gossip, whatever. It is at the same level sin as homosexuality or any other hot button issue that we try to pick on all the time.
Sin is sin.
Right.
It's a matter of broken relationship with God.
Right.
No matter what it is. And we're all sinners.